Samsung's A20 series has quietly become one of the most important lines in its portfolio. Easily, it's a default recommendation for anyone that wants a proper Samsung device but doesn't want to spend flagship money. I have here the Samsung Galaxy A27 with a huge AMOLED panel, a 50 megapixel main sensor, and 6 years of OS support. Like, why wouldn't I recommend this device? But still, I've been using this for a couple of days now, so here's my honest review. Let's get it. Starting with the price, this phone was launched in the US for about $349, so expectedly this should be in the range of about 4,000 Ghana cedi here in Ghana. But I'm going to put updated prices in the comment section. Go check it out before you continue. This year we're going to have a few colors. That is the black, the light green, and light pink. I have here the light green version. It kind of feels like a light teal, but yeah, it's kind of green. For design and build, it has a very familiar look. You get a familiar linear camera layout at the back, 3 real lenses grouped in the island. The frame is plastic, but the back is glass, and it has flat sides all around the device. Like I said, a very familiar design, but if it ain't broke, why fix it? It's so easy to use, it has no sharp edges, and the fact that you can make it stand by itself anytime is so cool to have. Around the device though, at the bottom, the Type-C charging port and a speaker grill, one speaker grill, and you can also find the microphone there. Unfortunately, we don't have a stereo speaker setup here, so you have to note that. On the side, we have the power button, which also has a fingerprint sensor embedded in it, then the volume rocker. On the left side, you find the SIM card ejector slot, but it looks like you can also put in an SD card, so that is very great. For design so far, it looks good, but here's the bad news. Previous Galaxy A26 carried an IP67 rating, but this has been reduced to IP64. Make sure you don't go dipping it in submerged water, but it will be able to survive splashes and the likes if you find yourself in the rain. But considering the kind of rain that we are having right now, I think this was the time that Samsung was supposed to keep the IP67 rating and not reduce it. But all in all, design looks good. There's not much to complain about apart from the IP rating. On the side, the fingerprint sensor works really well too. It makes it very easy to get into your device considering the fact that it's already in the power button. So once you click on the power button, it opens. Even though it's a glass back, it's not a fingerprint magnet. I've never found myself cleaning it because you can't even see your fingerprint when you hold it. For the design and the build, I'll probably give it 85% to 90%. Now let's talk about the display. The display is essentially unchanged from the Samsung Galaxy A26, which is good because if it ain't broke, why change it? It was already one of the best in its class. You get a 6.7 inches Super AMOLED display, it's a Full HD panel, and it also has a refresh rate of 120 Hz. When it comes to colors and sharpness, Samsung doesn't disappoint, so this doesn't disappoint too. The colors are punchy, vivid, blacks are deep, just as expected from an AMOLED panel. The bezels on here aren't the most uniform. It's slightly thicker at the chin region, but it's not so much for me to complain about. So all in all, I like the flat display on here. There are no curved sides. I don't hate curved displays, but if I was to choose, I definitely go for a flat display like this. One other thing that I enjoyed though was the 120 Hz display. Animations on the interface in general are smooth and swift. 120 Hz seems to be the way to go, especially for this price point. I am not complaining at all. And in a market where it's hard to find displays that are actually what they say it is, at least this is truly 120 Hz, so I appreciate that. But it doesn't seem to be variable though. I checked the settings and I can't make it go to 60 Hz when I'm not doing so much on the display, so it seems to be stuck at 120 everywhere. First of all, goodbye Exynos, hello Snapdragon. The headline change this year is the switch from the Exynos chipset to Samsung's own Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 built on the 4nm chipset and the Adreno 710 GPU. It sounds like Samsung finally listened to us. No more Exynos. Hopefully they are not going to go back to Exynos. But all in all, how does it affect performance on this device? It has been great. Considering the price point of this device, I have no complaints when it comes to performance. The UI is swift and smooth. I haven't noticed any kind of stutters whilst using this device. And even when it comes to gameplay, I had one of the best experience on this device. I'm probably going to do a whole gaming test video for this, so stick around for that. But I was able to play most of the games for this review. PUBG was good, Call of Duty was good, and even Genshin Impact played well on this device. And the fact that One UI 8.5 comes with 6 years of OS support, it makes it so easy to recommend people to get this device. So for people that don't like changing their devices every year, this can be an easy recommendation. This wasn't left out when it comes to AI features as well. You have the object eraser cleanup tools in your photos, voice transcription, circle to search, and even get Knox Vault for your security on this device. And yes, it's a Samsung device, so there's almost close to no bloatware on this device. That is really cool. That is the part that I wish other brands will copy. For battery, we get a 5000 mAh battery in here, and it supports 25 watts of fast charging. This is as similar to what we had in the Samsung Galaxy A26, which means this will take about 1 hour 30 minutes to fully charge from 0% to 100%. So make sure you note that before you step out of the day, charge your phone enough. But the 5000 mAh battery wasn't a problem for me throughout my test period. Getting to a week of usage, this was easy for me to use throughout the day. For cameras, the main sensor on here is a 50 megapixel sensor with OIS, a feature you don't normally get in this price point when it comes to budget devices. So yes, expect the same solid performance when it comes to daylight pictures from Samsung devices. This doesn't disappoint as well. For the price point, these pictures were decent and really cool. The ultra wide, however, has been downgraded from the A26's 8 megapixel to 5 megapixel on here, so which means the pictures are a little bit softer when you compare it to the Samsung Galaxy A26. And the 2 megapixel rounds up the array for the cameras at the back, and these are the kind of pictures that you should expect from the sensor as well. For videos, it caps up to 4K 30 FPS. These are sample videos as well. This is what it looks like. Let me know what you think about the videos. Okay, so this is a selfie video test on the Samsung Galaxy A27. We're currently shooting at Full HD 30 FPS. Let's quickly test our stabilization whilst we jog around and see how good the stabilization is. Whilst we are doing that, let's check out dynamic range. How's it looking? How does the mic sound? How does the skin tone look like? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now let's switch to the main camera and see what it looks like too. Alright, so this is being shot currently on the main camera, Full HD 30 FPS. Let's test our stabilization on the main camera as well. Guys, it's been a minute since I did this jogging or exercising, so subscribe. You're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We can actually do that. We can actually do that. What do you think about the footage? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Peace. So what is the verdict? Like I said, if you're looking for a Samsung device and you don't want to pay flagship prices, Samsung Galaxy A27 is an easy device for me to recommend. But Samsung, why did you reduce the IP rating for this though? I am not so entirely happy about that, but not everyone puts their phone in water anyway, so that might not be a problem for most people. But all in all, like I said, it's a very good phone to recommend. Solid software updates for this, solid software experience for this. The design is very easy to recommend. It looks very cool. It's simple and I like it. So this is what I think about the latest Samsung Galaxy A27. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. And as usual, stay liquid, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.